When GM lost their minds and sprayed chemicals on tires to beat Ford. In 1969, GM did something so bizarre most people think it is an urban legend. While Ford sold ordinary snow tires, General Motors hid a secret chemical laboratory inside the trunk of your Chevy. They called it Option V75, the liquid tire chain. At the push of a glowing dashboard button, high-pressure canisters developed with Dow Chemical sprayed a mysterious polymer directly onto the rear tires, supposedly hacking the laws of winter traction itself. But the experiment turned into a disaster. Drivers got stranded. Dealers panicked. GM quietly erased the system from history. Then, something even stranger happened. Street racers on Woodward Avenue discovered the winter safety spray worked even better on dry pavement, accidentally transforming a forgotten snow option into one of Detroit's strangest underground performance loopholes. Have you ever seen a surviving V75 car? Inside GM's 10th floor boardroom, President Ed Cole watched Ford and Chrysler bleed GM's northern market share. Driving massive rear-wheel drive sedans required a grueling ritual, hurling 100-pound sandbags into trunks to force dead axles onto ice. While European imports proved front-wheel drive superiority, Detroit stayed stubbornly front-heavy. Ford capitalized, pushing expensive mechanical fixes. But steel chains restricted speeds to 30 miles per hour and shredded fenders, while heavy snow tires ruined fuel economy. Cole's counterattack was RPO, V75 Instant Push-Button Chemical Adhesion for $22.95. Yet, dealers quietly buried it. Cheap aerosol paid pennies in commission, whereas high-margin physical tires kept coffers overflowing. To understand the madness of Option V75, look inside the trunk. Mounted over bare steel rear wheel wells sat the objects of obsession, two pressurized disposable aerosol canisters co-developed with Dow Chemical. Custom brass nozzles plumbed from these units aimed with surgical precision right at the rear treads. The mechanics were deceptively brilliant. Pressing a glowing dashboard button routed raw engine vacuum to solenoids, cracking open the valves. The payload was not generic de-icer. It was a concentrated proprietary polymer resin dissolved in a fast-evaporating solvent. Upon contact, it chemically hacked freezing rubber. The tread became instantly hyper-tacky. Pure Detroit arrogance. Adapting massive railroad sanders and military aerospace de-icing directly to passenger sedans. But the fatal flaw was the deployment ritual. GM assumed a freezing driver trapped in a blizzard would execute a delicate laboratory procedure. To work, you had to come to a dead stop. Press the button. Feather the throttle, spinning rear wheels at exactly 5 to 10 miles per hour. Too fast, and centrifugal force ruined the coat. Stop completely again. Wait for the solvent to flash off. Then attempt a slow escape. Detroit built a space-age miracle for calm lab techs, completely ignoring how panicked gearheads actually drive. Trapped in a blinding 1969 snowfall, the average blue-collar commuter did not act like a calm lab tech. They stomped the gas to the floorboard. Screaming rear tires spun to highway speeds, standing completely still. Centrifugal force instantly atomized the uncured Dow resin, painting frozen inner steel fenders with expensive useless glue before the solvent could flash off. Two desperate attempts emptied the canisters completely, leaving stranded drivers listening to a mocking hissing noise echoing from the trunk. Inside dealership service bays, chaos erupted. Old-school mechanics equipped only for carburetors and drum brakes faced delicate engine vacuum lines completely choked with hardened glue like resin. Faced with massive warranty claims and absolute embarrassment after selling a measly 2,600 units, GM initiated a total corporate blackout. Executives issued 0 press releases. They quietly scrubbed RPO-V75 from 1970 dealer order guides, shredded leftover promotional brochures, and pretended the Dow Chemical partnership never happened. The irony? Lab data proved it worked perfectly. On microscopic glare ice, the polymer doubled friction coefficients. But in 2 inches of dead-weight slush, surface tackiness was mechanically irrelevant against a massive front-heavy chassis. While freezing commuters cursed empty canisters, underground street racers unlocked an unintended mechanical loophole. On dry asphalt, gearheads driving high-horsepower 1969 Camaros, big block Chevelles, and COPO builds realized something incredible. The Dow polymer did not just grip ice sprayed onto warm street rubber. It aggressively softened tread compounds into an instant chemical prep. Out on Woodward Avenue, racers engineered a brilliant hack. Bypassing the factory vacuum lines, they triggered the dashboard button during a staging burnout, laying down atomized prep right at the red light. It fit the era's outlaw culture perfectly, standing alongside liquid bleach burnouts, toxic VHT track bite, and rerouted washer pumps. Option V, 75 provided a hidden factory-plumbed delivery system. Purely an accidental byproduct rather than intentional factory racing support, this scrubbed winter aid evolved into pure mythology. GM stubbornly refused to admit defeat in the Winter War, instantly pivoting from chemistry to early computing. Driven by Buick chief engineer Philip C. Bowser, the AC Spark Plug division birthed the 1971 through 1973 Buick MaxTrac system. It was the world's first computerized traction control, decades ahead of its time. The solid-state hardware was deceptively brilliant. To measure ground speed, MaxTrac read a magnetic transmission output shaft sensor monitoring the rear live axle, contrasting it directly against a dedicated speed sensor mounted to the left front disc brake rotor. A primitive onboard analog computer continuously compared these two frequencies. If the computer detected a rear wheel spin differential exceeding exactly 10%, it aggressively intervened. But in the real world, this brilliant logic turned into a physical nightmare. Picture a 1971 Buick Riviera pulling into a snowy, busy intersection. The rear wheels slip past the 10% threshold. Instantly, the analog computer violently modulates power to the ignition coil, short-circuiting the spark. The massive 455 V8 engine aggressively jerks stutters and bogs down. Trapped in oncoming traffic, the driver panics, assuming the engine has completely stalled out in a blizzard. Old-school mechanics, armed only with basic 12-volt test lights, were terrified of these early solid-state brains. Their unofficial fix was simple reach under the dash and unplug the MaxTrac module entirely. Contrast this brutal engine spark intervention against Ford's early SureTrack, which safely modulated anti-lock braking rather than killing raw power. Ultimately, an environmental loophole signed MaxTrac's death warrant. The early 1970s EPA regulations strictly penalized unburned hydrocarbons. Intentionally misfiring an engine dumped raw, unburned fuel directly into the exhaust manifold, instantly rendering GM's space-age electronic traction control illegal under federal mandates. Option V, 75 was not an isolated anomaly. It was the purest distillation of GM President Ed Cole's boardroom philosophy, absolute engineering ambition, completely overriding bean counter logic and real-world human testing. This was the unregulated DNA of Detroit's bravest era, birthing spectacular mechanical gambles. Look at the Chevrolet Corvair. Cole's team attempted to hack rear-engine handling physics to outmaneuver conventional layouts. The design was mechanically fascinating, yet it completely ignored the deadly reality of swing axle snap oversteer until public outcry forced a total redesign. Or take the infamous Cadillac V564. Long before modern computing, GM tried to hack fuel economy using primitive electromechanical solenoids to deactivate cylinders on the fly. The intervention was so violent, causing massive drivetrain shuddering, that desperate owners literally popped the hood and cut the factory wires just to limp home. Behind closed doors, brutal warfare raged between visionary engineers forcing science fiction onto the pavement and terrified 10th-floor lawyers, accountants, and dealers left facing furious stranded customers. If you wrenched through that era, you know the bitter truth: modern vehicles are flawlessly reliable, sterile appliances. But Detroit sold its soul when it traded that unbridled, dangerous engineering bravery for corporate safety. Today, we laugh at aerosol cans in trunks and jerky analog computers. But look closer. The core DNA of Option V75, the demand for instant push-button surface adhesion, and MaxTrac's precise 10% wheel speed delta monitoring did not die. They quietly laid the foundational blueprints for modern ECU-driven traction control, electronic stability programs, and active launch control. Detroit's insane failures were simply the future arriving decades too early. For the veteran gearheads watching, have you ever popped the trunk of a barn, find '69 Chevy, and discovered an intact V75 Dow canister? Did you ever have to reach under a dash to unplug a dead solid-state brain just to limp home? Let us know in the comments. Ultimately, this is not just a story about frozen glue or aborted electronics. It is a cinematic monument to a golden era when Detroit engineers were not afraid to fail spectacularly in the pursuit of mechanical magic.